This is KUGAN CASSIUS for IFL TV in association with MTK Global. We're at the press conference here for Warrington Galahad, 15th of June, Leeds First Director Arena. I'm joined by DOMINIC INGLE. How are you, mate?
Not bad, not bad. I'm still in one piece, Being ripped to shreds by the Leeds fans.
They had it in for you today, Dom.
Yeah, don't worry about it. I'm used to it. I mean, we beat them at football, didn't we? So, you know, that's probably what they're probably more upset about. That they're probably going to be more upset about Sheffield United beating Leeds United than they are with Galahad beating Josh Warrington, to be honest.
15th of June. This is being put back. It was originally, I believe, meant to be May the 4th. You don't believe that Josh Warrington has a hand injury, Dominic?
Yeah, he might have an hand injury, he might have a little niggle. You know, it's like anything else. You get niggles in boxing, don't you? But I think more to do with buying more time. You know, he's probably had a good Christmas and he's got a bit of weight to shift. I mean, don't look too bad today. He's probably got a bit of fitness to regain. But, you know, we don't want a substandard Josh Warrington on the 15th. We want the 100% real version. So there's no excuses. When Galahad beats him, there's no excuses.
You made reference in the press conference to Warrington's last two wins over Frampton and Selby as, you know, two fighters that kind of passed their sell-by date. Was that just kind of in the moment, or is that firmly what you believe they were? What do you think those wins were overrated?
Look at it logically. Has Lee Selby look very impressive in his last couple of fights before boxing Josh Warrington? You know, he's always struggles with the weight. You know, we've had him at our gym, you know, sparring Barry, and he's a great athlete. But I think the weight got to him in that fight. He catches up with this sooner or later. And with Frampton, look, he beat Santa Cruz. He got beat by Santa Cruz. Now, you'd think somebody as smart as called Frampton, the first time he beats a fighter, he beats him the second time. Do you understand? He didn't. And then, you know, he had his comeback in Ireland. He didn't look too great. And so it wasn't, you know, Josh Warrington didn't get the fighter who beat Scott Quigg or the fighter who beat Santa Cruz. He didn't get that fighter. He got a watered-down version who had a bit more stick. But that's how boxing is. You very rarely get fighters meeting at the peak. And that's, you know, Josh Warrington was at his peak. Selby wasn't, neither was Frampton. This is probably the first time he's going to meet a fighter at his peak because Barry's unbeaten. He's never been stopped. You know, he's never been on the floor. I think he's been on the floor once, flash knockdown. And Josh has beat him in the amateurs. He's sparred him as a pro. And I think, like I said, you know, Josh Warrington knows how hard this fight's going to be. The crowd don't, but Josh Warrington does because he's been in the ring with Barry already. And as much as he's smiling and trying to pass it all off, he knows he's in for an hard night's work on the 15th of June. He wanted to fight Valdez. There was moves being made to go over to America and fight Valdez in a unification. We put the block on that. You know, why would you want to be fighting Kid Galahad? You want to be fighting Valdez. You want to be fighting Santa Cruz. You want to be fighting, you know, the top guys out there. You don't want to be looking behind you. So, you know, that's a hard thing to get motivated for, and especially somebody who's going to cause you a load of problems.
There was a lot of references in the press conference to Barry's drug ban. It was almost brought as if like a point of concern from the Warrington camp. Your thoughts on that?
Well, he wasn't too concerned about when he boxed Dennis Sillon, was he? Who failed a test, you know, on cocaine. He wasn't bothered. They never mentioned it, but you won't do because you know you're going to beat that type of kid, which he did. And I suppose if he hadn't mentioned it, maybe Sillon was going to get the face on and maybe pull out the fight. I think that was a world title eliminator, so why would you mention it? So he didn't mention that, but he mentioned it about Barry. And Barry's was like 3.5 years ago, and Sillon was like quite recent before the fight. So, you know, it's just double standards, isn't it? And if he wants to get a bit of comfort from that, a bit like going to bed with his teddy bear at night, well, let him have it. You know, if he thinks that's going to get him through the fight, or, well, you know, if it's going to be an excuse afterwards when Barry beats him, well, you know, there's a bit of a cloud over his reputation. Well, yeah, let him use that. But the top and bottom is, he's done loads of random testing since. Even on the ban, he was random tested after fights, tested to the max, blood, urine, whatever it is, at the gym, at his house, just like Josh is. So, you know, and they'll get tested after the fight, before the fight. So it's going to be a clean fight, and whoever wins, wins, but I'm putting my money on Kid Galahad.
Dom, I wanted to ask you about your split with Billy Joe Saunders.
You can't ask me that question because I spoke to Billy earlier on the week and he said, you're going to do a press conference today at Leeds. Do not mention anything to KUGAN what's gone off. And you know Billy's a big mate of yours, and if Billy says to me, I can't say anything, you know, I think Billy's going to give you the exclusive. But what I will say is, there's no fallout with Billy. You know, we're still on good terms. But I think he wants to give you the exclusive, KUGAN.
But that's from Billy's side. I wanted your side. Was it a mutual decision?
Listen, I ain't got a side. You know, fighters come in and fighters leave, and it's their decision. It's not you know, you don't really play a part in that decision. It's whatever they make their mind up. Don't forget they're employing me to train them. Same with Kell Brook. So, you know, there's nothing really to say. You know, we had a good 6 months when he beat Monroe and he beat Lemieux. Great. We had a year of inactivity and he's just moved on, a bit fresher. You know, gone with Tyson, a bit with Ben, just to change it up a little bit. But I think he'll give you the full KUGAN. I think he wants to give you the full breakdown, KUGAN. It's going to be a KUGAN Cassius exclusive.
So I don't get that with DOMINIC INGLE, is what you say.
Listen, I can't really say anything. I can make something up if you want.
Feel free to.
We decided to have a straightener in the street, and I actually got the top side of him, and he went off in a bit of a huff. How about that? Does that sound good? Does it sound plausible or not?
Not really. But Dom, but you two are fine. That's the main thing.
No problem. Listen, there's no problem with Billy. I messaged him this morning, so yeah, there's not a problem at all.
Okay. Everyone loves a conspiracy theory. You know they do.
Of course they do, and you know I'd like to fuel that fire, but you know Billy's a laugh and a joke, and he's a good laugh. So he's got his mind on this fight now. Hopefully it comes off and he's back in the mix.
DOMINIC INGLE, thank you very much for your time, and hopefully we'll catch up with you again soon.
No problem.